Hello and welcome to the webinar. I'm your moderator, George Zarebski, and we have with us today our founders, Candace and Mark Perea. As you may know from the last webinar, they were locked in the basement for a couple weeks over the holidays. They were busy doing a lot of important things, and we'll talk about some of those things today. We let them out for just a few minutes to do this quick update, and then we're going to have to throw them right back inside. So they'll be out of pocket for the next couple of days at a minimum. So this week we will talk about some of the pains of launching our store. We'll do some startup talk, and then we'll do some other updates and notifications, or updates to notifications that'll be coming down the pike here soon. If you're watching the recorded version, be sure to leave any questions you have in the comment area, and we will get back to you as soon as possible with the answers to those. Or you can always use the chat bubble on our website, aerez.net, aerez.net. Down at the bottom right, there's a chat bubble for you to ask any questions you have. So let's get right into it. Candace, what do we have from you today?
All right. Well, let's start with some code updates. We have a new registration process. So in the past, with our beta and our field trials, we created users and sent that information out with the hardware. And so what's pretty cool now is when somebody orders Aerēz, we send out their hardware and give them the URL to access the registration process. And so basic registration process, really simple. All you need is email and a password. Of course, because we are security minded, the password has some requirements. It does need to have at least one number. It has to have at least 6 characters, and it also needs to have one special character. So I know in the past that's kind of mixed a few people up, and it's the same requirements when you change your password. So once you get past the registration process, it will take you to the login screen, and you can log in and you're ready to go.
Oh, I put in bad passwords. But this is where it would happen. This is how we do it, right?
Right.
Okay.
So if anybody runs into any of those issues, of course, they can always chat with us in our support. We've got a link to email us at the bottom of the registration page. So if you run into any problems, certainly give us a holler.
It's important to note, I think, that you must be connected to your Aerēz Wi-Fi network or plugged into the Aerēz device physically in order for this registration to, identify the Aerēz that it's connected to and properly register.
Right, so the router has to be plugged in. We have to follow the setup procedures on the setup card that comes in the package, or on the back of the box, or bottom of the box, as it were. And we'll talk a little bit about that packaging as well here in a moment. And so we follow those steps, connect to the Aerēz Wi-Fi, and then we can do this registration process once our Aerēz router is connected.
Exactly. Yep.
All right.
And so that's pretty much all of my code updates. I've been working a lot on some other areas. Obviously, as part of our startup, we're trying to grow. And with growing, we are hopefully adding employees to our business. So I've been working on getting the funding and the job descriptions ready to hire a couple of software developers. So if anybody on the webinar is looking for a opportunity with a startup, exciting new projects to work on, we are looking for people with web and mobile development experience, people who have a grasp of server-side programming, database architecture, as well as being able to create front-end code. So yeah, send us an email, team@aerez.net if you're interested.
Awesome. That's exciting. Employees. Ooh, that's like big leagues. Really doing it. But that's a testament to where we're at. We've got our product proof of concept is well done. Beta, we're pretty much out of beta. But we are, as always, ever evolving the platform and adding new features to it based on the feedback we get from the users. But to do that and maintain that, we do need some people to be dedicated to the programming and coding of that environment. So awesome. Good stuff. So what's this about the packaging? Let's talk about that a little bit. You want to touch on that a little bit, Candace?
So the last couple of weeks, well, we launched our online store on January 6th, and we started working on the packaging a couple of weeks prior to that. And it's just a lot tougher than what we thought to be able to get printed packaging that is reasonable. So we actually have, I think our order has recently been placed, maybe as of today, and we should be getting our packaging coming in soon. But as a tech person, I didn't realize how much time and effort goes into getting all the details of the packaging and the product put together. So it's been a learning process.
Yeah, well, for sake of anybody that may be watching this and they're in the startup process, let's just touch on that real quick for a moment, because again, there was a lot more than just printing out a sleeve, as it were, and slapping it on. That's what it came down to in the end, put in its simplest form, of course. But there was a lot that went into that. We started off with looking at boxes. We had a budget of trying to keep it around, $2 a box, and we ended up getting it way lower than that. And then there was another thing that we hadn't even thought about. Mark thought about it, UPC codes. So I'm gonna throw you under the bus here, Mark. Can you talk a little bit about that UPC code search, just what you learned from that search process?
Yeah, so I mean, officially, there's one and only one provider of UPC codes that patented and invented the idea of the UPC code. However, if you're not a company that's going to sell thousands of different kinds of products, if you're only going to sell one product, it's highly recommended that you find an alternative to that one and only source of UPC codes, because it'll cost you $800 a year to maintain your own company identification, company record with the UPC provider. So that's GS1 is the official way to go. And there are some lawsuits involved with them back in the early 2000s. So there are ways to get legitimate, real UPC codes, but not through GS1, and that just has to be provided by somebody who existed before 2002.
Right. So if anybody's watching this and you're interested in going down that road yourself, drop us a line. Send us an email, and we'll be happy to give you some more information on how we did it, what our process was. So to come full circle, we ended up not buying a new box. We ended up keeping our box because, again, our hardware manufacturer already exists. We're not creating hardware, so they already have a branded package that comes to us, and we're very proud to be partnered with this manufacturer, Microtik. So at the end of the day, we decided let's just put a sleeve with our branding, of course giving a respect to the brand that our hardware is as well, and then we had to have our own UPC code on it so that we could put it on the shelf. So right now we are also listed in the Amazon store, and we have our own storefront at shop.aerēz.net. And hopefully we'll be doing some kiosks around the U.S. here and there, and have some on the shelf to hand out to people face to face. So yeah, that was a long and grudging process, but we finally made it. We're there, and yes, Candace, they will be ordered today. Actually, they're on order now. So we have those and our instruction cards that are on order, finally. All right, so Mark, let's switch over to you for a moment here. Let's talk about some of the immediate future here for some of our notifications. And I think we have one for me to display and share as well. Is that right?
Sure. So hopefully everyone enjoyed your holidays. We sure enjoyed our time off. But stuff that's changing and has changed. Under the hood, we've been running speed tests all along and making sure that we're able to tell whether each of our customers, users of Aerēz, whether their internet connections are running stable and running well. We've now made Aerēz smarter in that every hour it will measure your speed, but then in addition, if it detects that your speed has changed, it's going to retune itself. And today that value is a change of over 30%. So if it's 30% different than it's already tuned for, we're going to go in and retune for how it is now. And that'll periodically change over day, hour over hour if it needs to. If it doesn't need to, nothing happens. In addition, it's smarter. It used to just run a test regardless of what was happening. Aerēz now checks to see whether there is significant usage on your network. And if there is, we'll delay that speed test until the next time it runs so that it doesn't impact your performance. So as far as that notification goes, you'll see in the settings notifications area, there is a flag for turning on notifications for speed changes. So if you set up your notifications, we've got a number for you to send messages to, and receive notifications is turned on. You'll see here speed change. It doesn't look like we've actually added that to the front end on our production network. So that will be coming to be able to turn that on for the production side.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that, Mark. I'm on the actual live. I'm not on our test server, so it's not showing that recent update. But so it'll be right here. It'll show right here that speed test notification, just like the others, right?
Right. So it'll be called speed changes on network, and it'll, just like the rest of these, you'll be able to get a text or an email based on whether you want to see that information. As you've seen, George, we've already got that system in place. We're just finalizing the testing of it before we roll that code over to our production servers. So that's really in the chute and almost ready to go. The other piece that just went live is just a weekly speed test results. So George, if you head back to your activity log on the home dashboard, you'll see that we now, once a week, we're just going to inform you as part of your dashboard, how was your speeds through your internet service provider this week? And you'll be able to see here at a glance, hey, my speed was on average this upload, this download. We'll also be, over the next couple of code cycles, adding the ability for you to look at your speed test results. So we've been measuring the speed tests. We're going to expose those speed tests to you so you can take a look at them and look at the history of how the speed tests have looked from our perspective.
So there'll be a page that I can go to and see a history. And how are we going to present that? Is that going to be like a bar graph or a dial or something like that?
Yeah, so that's a good question, is how should we display that? I think that, we're definitely looking for input on that. At the current moment, we're probably going to display that as text, but if there's a better way to do that, or a way that makes more sense to somebody that they'd like to communicate with us, obviously Aerēz is all about getting the feedback of our users and find out what it is that you want. All of this stuff that has been built, more than half of it has come from user requests. So, we have our ideas on what people want to see, but nothing tells us more than what you want to see than, you yourself.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mark. And just for SA, we just brought on a PR person the other day, and we were talking with her. We had our public relations meeting, our kind of our strategy on the way forward in social media and whatnot. And we made the comment to her when we were trying to explain what Aerēz was and what type of company we are and we want to be. We've got three techie people. You got an engineer, a programmer, and a tech enthusiast. Not exactly the dynamic that we're shooting for as far as our customers. We're looking to find people that don't want to do the things that we know how to do, or they can't do those things, or they don't want to take the time if they can, which is the category I fall into. I could do all this stuff, but I don't want to sit here and take 30 minutes to do a command line of code to pause the internet when I can now do it with the tap of a button on the app. So yeah, definitely we need your guys' feedback, because we're not going to think about all the cool UI features and the smoothest way to do thing on our own, because we're kind of techie oriented. So definitely want your guys' feedback on that stuff. So Mark, let's talk about some graphs and dials. We do have some graphs and dials that we know we'll be presenting here shortly, right?
Right. So I can show some raw data if you want me to take over presenting here. Actually, you could show it. You've got the
yeah, I'll bring it up here.
The test page there. But basically, we're adding an entire insights engine where we're going to allow you to see all the things we've promised you to be able to see in the past. And we've said, this is really going to help you troubleshoot your network. You're going to understand what it is that's going on your network and how it's behaving. And so now we're just getting to the point where we can expose that to you with, a front end and back end code. So what you're going to be able to see is a
Well, Mark, let me
graph.
interject real quick here. I've got it up. I know you can't see it, so let me explain what I'm showing on the screen. So this again is in raw format here, guys. So this is not what the final
It's not
look
going
is
to look
going to
like.
be, right? It's not going to look like
Yeah.
this. But what we're showing here, these numbers at the bottom of this chart are the different devices. They're the IP address of the different devices that I have talking on my network at the instant that this page was loaded. And this bar graph is showing the amount of data that I'm downloading, and then at this line, the amount of data that I'm uploading. And then it breaks down to each individual device and what it's using as I scroll down here. So Mark, I'll hand it back over to you, and I'll just kind of follow wherever you lead for showing them this.
Yeah, so the vision is that at the top of the screen, you'll get a summary of your whole network. It's just going to show you what currently right now your upload and download looks like compared to what your circuit capacity is. Because again, we're running the speed tests, we know what that is. So you'll be able to see at a glance whether your network is full or mostly empty. Easy first step in troubleshooting. Then we're going to break it down and show you which devices are the ones talking right now, and how much of your capacity there each of them is consuming. So another at a glance, you'll be able to find out if I need to go look at a device, which device do I need to look at? We'll be right there.
Awesome. And to make note, these numbers are showing right now, but of course in our production version, it's going to show the name of the device. So whatever you've input as the name of the device for the nickname, that's what's going to show below here instead of this archaic number here. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's really awesome. That is a good deal. And so every time we refresh, we'll be able to see who's doing what talking. Now I can find a lot of uses for this. This can be really useful when I'm trying to figure out who's hogging up all the bandwidth. If I'm trying to figure out what this new device is, I have the IP number, but I'm not sure which device it is. So maybe I can go start a stream somewhere, and then whichever one is the largest talker may be the one that I need to. It may be the one that I'm trying to find, and I can add a proper nickname for that. And it's just for general situational awareness. If my Nest thermostat is sucking down 5 megabytes a second, that's probably not a good thing. It shouldn't be doing that. Those Internet of Things devices generally should not be eating up a lot of your bandwidth. So that's probably going to be the ultimate visual display for that. All right, Mark, anything else you want to talk to from the tech spectrum, engineering-wise?
No, I think that's where we're at now. We've got plenty of things still in the chute, but we'll talk about those as they get closer to being released.
Awesome. All right, Candace, let me bounce back to you here. So part of the energy and effort we've been taking here the past couple weeks is trying to figure out what our schedule is going to be in the future. And part of that schedule includes doing some conferences and that type of thing, right? Trade shows. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. As George said, we're working with our PR person to kind of build our trade show schedule and conference schedule, so that we can get out into the community and bring awareness to our product. And we just love being a part of the tech community and the entrepreneur community. So we're looking at different locations that we can meet with those other individuals who might be in the same situation as us, building a business and bringing a product to market. So I think in North Dakota, they're having a Prairie Capital Summit in February that we are looking to attend with local speakers, entrepreneurs, and hopefully get some good feedback from other people in North Dakota who are also starting businesses. We have applied to the Release It competition held by South by Southwest, which would be super exciting. If we get into that, we would attend the South by Southwest conference. Also looking just at some other technology conferences coming up throughout the year that we can either attend or exhibit, and meet some new people, get the word out on our product.
So basically it's time to dust off those frequent flyer cards, right? Start taking advantage of those miles, right?
Yes, definitely. We'll be spending more time out of the office. So again, we're excited to be able to bring some software developers on so that production on the app does not get held up by us being away. So yeah,
Awesome.
but it's exciting.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for those updates. I want to take just a few seconds here. We're just pushing past 20 minutes, and we like to keep this to around 20 minutes so we can have 10 minutes for Q&A. But there are a few things I want to mention real quick. We do have our 50% off coupon in the shop that we mentioned earlier right now, shop.aerēz.net. And the code is New Year 2017. So just put that in after you've put the Aerēz product in the cart. Go to checkout, and you'll get that 50% off. And that's going to last for a short time, so please take advantage of that right away. And here is our storefront website, shop.aerēz.net again. And you can see at the top we have the banner with the discount code. And if you scroll to the bottom, we've added a new feature that I spoke to last week, but I didn't show, the frequently asked questions. And here we have some of the questions that you guys have asked us, our current users and testers and friends and family have asked us over the past few months about the product. So be sure to check that out and to drop us a line if you have any questions that haven't been answered on there. So definitely go check that out. And I think that's all I had. Any last rounds from you guys, Mark and Candace?
No, I hope everybody has a great week.
Okay, awesome. Well, we are going to send you guys back into the basement now. So again, you guys won't be hearing from them for a couple weeks or a couple days. Sorry, I'm not going to keep you guys in the basement that long, guys. Sorry about that. We'll talk to you next week on Wednesday at 12:30 Central for our weekly webinar Wednesday. Thank you, Candace, Mark, guys, for taking the time to share this information with us. We truly appreciate it. And let me check the comment section right now to see if there's any questions. All right, again, guys, if you have any questions after the fact, just drop them in the comment section and we will reply to those there, or hit up our chat bubble on our website and we will answer those as well. And we will talk to you all next week. Take care.
Thank you, George.
Thanks.